So I'm sorry I haven't been able to I'm sorry I haven't been actually been. I am sorry I have not been actually been able. I'm sorry I have not been actually able. I need to learn English again. I am sorry that I have not actually been able to demonstrate a firmware upgrade on your SD card. Right, so I'm very sorry I've not actually been able to demonstrate a K2.bin file upgrade. Why can't I speak? But if you can't, if you hello and welcome, Steve here from A Bike Thing. If you've been following my 7-part series of the full installation on here, I've been doing live updates. Apologies if you found it very, very long-winded. It's because that none of it is edited at all. It is all recorded live, just so you can see exactly how long it takes. It looks like a 7-hour job. It probably is if you've never done it before. It took me 7 hours because I'm talking to you as I'm doing it. Now, this job would normally take me probably about four and a half, maybe 5 hours if I was doing it without any interruptions or videoing it, carrying a camera around me at the same time. I couldn't really do this live because I want to be able to show you as much as I can as I'm doing what I'm about to do. So we're about to set up the Innovv K2, put the SD card in, format it, upgrade the firmware successfully. A lot of people have a lot of problems with this. Now, if I try and do this live, you're not going to see what's going on my phone, on the app, and you're not going to see what's going on my computer. So I'm doing my very best to try and record here, get the right sound, and also record my screen as I'm doing it on my phone, and record the screen on my computer at the same time. Okay, so we're going to take the back seat off. If you've been watching any of the video footage of me actually installing all this, I keep changing my mind how I'm mounting this. So what I've done now is I took 2 small strips of that 3D, or is it 3M, what do you call it, Velcro, that special Velcro stuff, and put a tiny strip on the back. Oh, it's come off there. Tiny strip on the back there, and a tiny strip here on there. So that then sticks down. So you just pop it in, lock it down. So here it is. The bike is turned off right now. So I'm going to take this panel off here. There we are. And here we've got a brand new SD card. So unopened. So this is a 256 gigabyte Class 10 there it is there. I'm going to pop this inside here. Now I think it goes in that way around. Let me just double check. Yeah, so I had it with the contacts facing upwards. It's not pushed in yet because my fingers can never get in there. So I'm going to use the key and just pop that in. So that is now clicked in. There's no need to push it all the way in. So I just want to make sure you can see the lights on this. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the bike on. You're going to see this light up and do a load of different things. I'm not actually looking at it because right now I'm just preparing my phone and recording the screen on my phone. There we go, it's just firing up now. You don't have to press this silver button at all. The only time I've ever pressed the silver button on here is when I plugged it in via a USB, just because it didn't come on, so I pressed it and it came on. So it's not an off button, but you don't need it. As soon as the power comes through from the bike, it powers up. So you see the blue light flashing, that is telling you your Wi-Fi is preparing itself. So let me turn my screen record on my phone. Right, I'm just going to go through to my app. Right, now I'm pressing, no, hang on, not to my app. So then you go to the settings on your phone. And you can see right now, that's me, Stephen April, and you can see that is my Wi-Fi in my house. That's what I call my Wi-Fi, no more Mr. Wi-Fi. Do you like it? But what we're going to do is go from here, and we're looking for the obvious. There it is, Innovv K2. Now, I have asked the customer if he wants to rename it, because if I turn my bike on, which is behind the camera, you'll see two Innovvs come up. You'll see Innovv a bike thing, and then you've got this Innovv with a generic name. So we're going to click on that. It's asking for a password. I think it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Join. I think it is. We'll know in a second. And you can change. Yes, it is. Wonderful. Right, so now we come out of there, and then we go through to the app, and we are now in the app screen. We're now going to press on the cog in the middle. SD card format error. SD card has error or wrong format. Need to be formatted. Press OK to format it, and be aware that all files in the SD card. Right, okay, this is fine. Hit yes. Now, as this is doing this, I'm assuming it's doing something in the background. As it's doing this, this is where I need to tell you, do not be tempted to format your request timeout. One moment. The thing is, if it still needs formatting, the actual thing will tell us, the actual app will tell us. But don't be tempted to format it in your computer. Just don't do that. Allow this unit to do the formatting. Connect to camera. Right, let me just go back and make sure we're still connected. No, we're not. One moment. Go back to the Innovv. Yep. Connecting to device. Here we are. Right. So I know the customer wants me to change the name, so we're going to quickly do that. And he wants to call it that. Please reconnect Wi-Fi to SSD name Innovv K2. Right. Okay. So what we have to do now is come out of this, go back to settings, and we're going to go and look for networks again. There we are, Innovv K2 Rallye. Put in the password, it's still 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I'm going to leave it like that, and it's down to him if he wants to change that. But when he takes delivery of his bike next week, he'll turn it all up, flick on his app, and he'll see Innovv K2 Rallye pop up. Right, let's go back to the app. So now we're in here. So that is now formatted. Now I'm waiting for it to ask me to upgrade the firmware, and it's not. It's got the latest firmware on there, I think. Right, okay. That was the whole point of this video. The whole point was to update the firmware, but it's got the latest firmware on here. To all the people out there who have got an older Innovv K2, when I say older, it's still a current model, but it just hasn't got the latest firmware on there. So this is off a batch of K2s that literally just came in a couple of weeks ago. So I've got a load of them in stock. So it's good because the firmware doesn't need upgrading. But if you've got an older K2, it will tell you need to upgrade the firmware. And then what you'd do is turn the bike off, take the SD card out, put the SD card onto your computer. Now what I'm going to do is come back to my computer. Let's record the screen over here. You come onto your computer, you go to the innovv.co.uk website, and then you hover on at the top of the website. You've got all these tabs, and you go to support, go down and click on K2 dual motorcycle camera technical support. That will bring you onto this page here. So I've already got this page open. The website was a little bit slow this morning. Scroll all the way down. Like, if you want to, I'd really recommend you read all this page. It's a lot to read, it's lots to take in, I know, but just to keep this nice and quick, you go to k2.bin firmware file. You've got a user update guide there, But if you hit download, that will then download the file just here. So it's on Dropbox. And you'd hit download, direct download, or save to my Dropbox, so direct download. It's waiting. I'm going to put that into, oh, I'll stick it on my desktop so I know where it is. And it's called K2. Hit save. There it is there. And if I go to my desktop, where is it? K2. Right, it's there. It's a zip folder. So if I click on that. Okay, let's go back into my Finder, desktop. Where is my desktop? I can't see my desktop. It's right. It must be staring me right in the face, and I can't see my desktop. There it is. There. Right. Go to desktop. There it is. K2 bin. Right. You can't unzip it. So literally, what you do is you drop that onto the SD card. So what you do now is plug your SD card into your computer, and you drag this K2.bin file straight into the root folder of your SD card. Once that's in there on the root folder, you then eject the SD card, and then you put the SD card straight back inside the Innovv K2 unit. Simple as that. When you turn the bike back on, it'll go through an initialization mode again, and then you see the little camera, the camera icon. When that flashes really fast, flashes red really fast for about 20-30 seconds. I can't remember the exact time, but it goes on for quite a while, and then it stops. That's it. The firmware has updated, and you can turn your app back on, connect to the device, and you'll see it's all okay. The only recommendation I would say to you is keep in mind about the Wi-Fi connection, because sometimes the Wi-Fi connection can drop, especially if you turn the bike off, and it'll go back to your other preferred Wi-Fi connection if you've got one nearby. So you've got to make sure your Wi-Fi is connected to the Innovv K2 unit. So I'm really sorry I couldn't actually show you an upgrade, a K2.bin upgrade, but because I know a lot of people have been struggling with it, but it seems to be, I didn't realise that all the new K2s now have had the new firmware already put on there. So if the app isn't asking you to do the firmware upgrade, then you've already got the latest firmware on there. So please do not hesitate. If you're having a firmware upgrade, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'll help you as much as I can. But just to go over it one more time, if your app tells you you need to do an upgrade, then you need to do an upgrade. You go onto the Innovv website, you download that K2.bin file, you then drag and drop that onto your SD card. After you've formatted it, you don't do it beforehand. After you formatted it the way I showed you, you then once that's dragged into the root folder of your SD card, you then put the SD card back in the device, turn the bike on, watch the lights. You'll see the camera icon flash rapidly red. Wait for it to do it. It might take 30 seconds before it starts doing it. But once that starts flashing red rapidly, you then wait maybe another 20-30 seconds. When it finishes flashing, it's done. Your upgrade's complete. You can then log back onto the DVR through your app. But if you can't, if you ever struggle to actually connect to the DVR from your app, stop, go back to your settings, look at your Wi-Fi connection. It's probably disconnected, and it will do that most likely when you turn the bike on and off and everything. So it's a bit of a pain in the bum, I know, I get it, but persist with it. Once it's done, it's done. The first time I did it, I spent hours. I was literally throwing things around this garage because I was so angry with it. But when you've done it once, you can do it many times. I appreciate you only need to do it once. I do this a lot, so I'm quite quick at it now. So anyone who's getting a brand new K2, don't worry about it. You're going to have all the latest firmware on there. Excellent. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got a feeling it's going to be absolutely naff. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you've got any comments, please leave a comment. Anyone who wants any help with this, then I'm more than happy to give guidance and advice on how to get the firmware upgraded. Yeah, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a comment, all that malarkey. Yeah. I'll see you in the next video. Okay. But if you can't, if you